strike on it, forces Calendar into a save down to his left. Big save there. Joseph Martinez from 25 yards on, tries the curl. Negri trying to flick it through, and it comes to the back post, and it's a debut goal for Serhii Krivtsov. Hits it off the post. Borgelin saved off the left. Borgelin again has scored. Gives Miami the comfortable lead. InterMiami get to the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup final after beating FC Cincinnati on penalties and get their second half surge started as they beat New York Red Bulls away from home. Their first win in Major League Soccer with Lionel Messi. We welcome you in to this week's edition of the InterMiami Show. Chris Whittingham alongside the former England, Arsenal, West Brom, and InterMiami defender Kieran Gibbs. And Kieran, we start to see the goals achieved. You win Leagues Cup, and now you get to an Open Cup final. More domestic silverware on offer for InterMiami. And then, as you need wins, lots of them in the run into the season, you got 12 games left. You probably got to win 8 or 9 in order to get to the playoffs. You get that first one on the board, and now you're off and running.
Yeah, and Chris, you know what? It's such a big couple of months coming up, but they're doing themselves all the favours in the world at the moment with the form, the momentum. I think we're just going to have to come to terms with the fact that, you know, this is just how it's going to be with the team at the moment, with the constant heart-in-the-mouth moments, the drama. But yeah, most importantly, the incredible memories that we're witnessing. And I'm loving the character of this team right now and what they're building. I think for me as a player, the most difficult thing to face is a team that doesn't know when they've been beaten.
Yes.
You know, and I think that's what we're seeing right now with this team. And if they can keep that going, they'll give themselves the best chance of having a really successful season. It's
great that you say the memories. I do think that's a big part of that, particularly with the Open Cup. As let's get to those highlights now, because what a night it was at TQL Stadium as InterMiami travel to take on the side that are currently top of the Supporter Shield standings. And they would not only grab a lead, but a multi-goal lead. The first one coming off of a deflection. Kamal Miller trying to put the challenge in on Lucho Acosta, and Cincinnati would grab the early lead in this one. You can see Acosta getting in behind. It's just a weird goal. It bounced all over the place and eventually came for the Argentine number 10. And then nearly the instant response, Diego Gomez played in behind and is denied there by Alec Khan, the goalkeeper for FC Cincinnati, who continued to push on in the second half. Brandon Vasquez, that's a fantastic hit for 2-0 into the bottom corner. And Cincinnati would have that 2-goal lead. And like you said, Kieran, this is not a team that knows when they are done. They're 2-0 down in the second half, and you think, well, you know, they went so far in Leagues Cup. They're tired. It's a hot night in Cincinnati. But is this going to be the end of the line and finally Miami lose a game? Not to be. Lionel Messi, Leo Campana for 2-1.
Yeah, and this is it. The desire to not be beaten is just so evident in the team, and what a delivery that is. The double Leo combination is just so great to witness.
And then Drake Callender, this a save from a free kick. He had to make several saves, particularly in that second half stoppage time period, to keep Miami in it, including this one. Alvaro Barreal trying to sneak it around the wall. Aviles trying to go up and win it, but it's Callender who just beats that one away. And then he would be the equalizer. 97 minutes. Messi for Campana again for 2-2.
Brilliant. I mean, I just love the flight of the ball, and the pace is just perfect, right on his head. We know Leo loves to score with his head. He's big, he's strong. He's done it so many times this season, and he comes up right when the team needs him, puts a perfect cross in and finishes it off brilliantly into the bottom corner. Keeper has no chance, and they give themselves a chance.
And then Kremaski in extra time. See the attention drawn towards Messi and Martinez. Fantastic finish. And Miami had the lead in extra time.
Yeah, and Joseph again showing that he can step up as well. And this is the problem for other teams at the moment. You just got so much quality in the front, in the final third. And how many times have you seen Joseph do that? It's another brilliant finish.
Miami looked like they could have been home and dry, but in the second period of extra time, that's some strike from Yu Yakubo to make this game 3-3, and we'd be heading towards penalties. Cincinnati had taken off Brandon Vasquez, had taken off Lucho Acosta, and although Drake Callender gets fingertips to it, it's not enough to tip it round the post, and so we would be heading to penalties at the end of 120 minutes, as if this game couldn't be dramatic enough. Cincinnati and Miami all converting their first 4 penalties. Nick Haglund, though, on the 5th, denied by Drake Callender. Another big penalty shootout save for the Inter-Miami goalkeeper. And then Benja Kremaski stepping up to win it. And he would send Miami to the Open Cup final. Fantastic there from Kremaski as Miami do it. 3-3 after 120 minutes. 5-4 on penalties. And Karen, you talked about that resolve. You saw at times in the faces of the Miami players difficulty in terms of dealing with a difficult night, tons of games. You're playing your 8th game in essentially a month, and then Lionel Messi and co. get what they needed, 2 assists, 2 Campana goals, Gremaski in extra time, getting that assist in, and also converting that winning penalty. That's incredibly clutch from a player who's 18 years of age. You see so much coming together for this team.
Definitely. And the one thing about that feeling of, not knowing when you're getting beaten is it's really hard to explain as a player, but when you have it, you feel invincible.
Yeah.
You feel like it's inevitable that at some point you're going to get a chance. And with the quality that they have in the team, as long as they keep that ingredient, then they'll always give themselves a chance to, if not win a game, but stay in a game. Because we said that even if they don't win sometimes, just being able to get a draw is enough to climb up the table, and that's what they need to do. So I feel that they're going to be able to do that with the quality, but most importantly the desire right now is what I'm most impressed with.
Well, and I also imagine it's in the heads of their opponents as well. When you think of in that game, 8 minutes go up on the board, and they got to be thinking, oh man, we got to defend for 8 minutes. We got to keep Lionel Messi at bay for 8 more minutes. That's also an incredible advantage to have over your opposition as well.
Yeah, and mentally it's draining for the other team, because they're going to get fatigued, because you can't switch off for a minute. Even in the last second of the game, you give them a chance and you could get punished. So that's what Miami have at their bay right now, so they need to use that and stay with that for every game for the rest of the season. That will give them the best chance.
Man, in front of these fans, a cup final on a Wednesday night, that could be another chance for Miami to sort of capture the attention of not just Miami, but the entire country. It'll be a huge night here at Drive Pink Stadium and a chance for Miami to play in yet another cup final, get more silverware, and already their first season with Messi.
Absolutely, yeah. That's going to be an incredible night, let's be honest, and another gift for the fans after what we said was a difficult season so far. So I'm really looking forward to that one, and it also draws a lot more attention back onto the US Open Cup, which has been going for a long time.
Yeah.
And another incredible chance for these players to write themselves in the history books.
Yeah, this tournament's been being played since 1914, and Miami will get a chance now to get their hands on that silverware to take on Houston Dynamo on the 27th. But it was back to work in Major League Soccer after that cup match. There was only 2 days in between, and so Miami decided to rest a few players, namely Lionel Messi and Sergio Busquets. So they go into a difficult game as you get to the highlights now. Miami away at Red Bull Arena to take on a New York Red Bull side that were certainly going to be up for the occasion. The game was being broadcast in Times Square, and they got to see this goal 36 minutes into the game. Robert Taylor keeping it in play, and Noah Allen serving the ball into the penalty area, and Diego Gomez getting his first Miami goal.
Yeah, sustaining attacks. This is what we saw in the early part of the game for Miami, which was really impressive to see, especially away from home. Love the way Robert Taylor gets the composure to bring it down and find Noah Allen, who puts a cross in, and the first touch is everything here because it just sets him up so nice to take a swing on his weaker foot, and thankfully it rolls perfectly into the bottom corner.
Yeah, struck it sweetly, had the technique to get that right on his weaker left foot in towards that corner beyond Coronel. And then Messi would come on as a second half sub, and no surprise, make an impact. There's so many elements to this play. The ball from Busquets, this touch from Alba, and then Lionel Messi turning in front of 3 defenders and somehow finding Bernard Gremaski this pass. And then, of course, he has to put it away. What a move. And Lionel Messi gets his first MLS goal.
I mean, the whole sequence, you could just watch it over and over again. First of all, the acrobatics from Jordi Alba to find Messi is just completely world class. That is just such a difficult skill to do. And then for this moment with Messi, listen, there was only one person in the whole stadium or the millions that were watching around the world. There was only one person that could see this pass.
Yeah.
And I think he sees it.
Where Gremaski is.
It's just incredible. It's just incredible. No player, not many players in the world can do that, if not any, except for this guy. The improvisation and the instinct to do it right at the last second and then make the run forward, it's just incredible. It's just incredible. And it again, he's there to just tap it in at the end and make it look so easy. And there's no one else around him. There's 6 players in the box. He's managed to find the answer to make it look like an easy tap-in. And just another incredible moment for everyone to see.
And Miami will win the game on the night by 2-0. We showed every camera angle of that. I'm not sure we showed enough camera angles of that because, my goodness, what a pass that was from Lionel Messi. And again, it's that feeling of, all right, you're playing in a bunch of cups. You played 8 matches in cups before you play your first game in the league. You get into Major League Soccer play. You've got a mountain to climb. You started without Lionel Messi. And honestly, to me, obviously, we can talk about that goal for ages, and I've already watched it about 100 times. But when you look at the situation in the league, to start a game without Lionel Messi and win anyway, away from home against a Red Bull side that, albeit are not having a great season, they always make it difficult against you. It sort of sends you on your way. And now you start to dream. Maybe Miami can do this, do the impossible, and make up the 14-point gap and make it into the playoffs by the end of the season.
Yeah, and the team in general has just had a lot thrown at it in the last 6 weeks. Tata had to make some changes, right, because they've played extra time in a lot of games. The last month will have taken a lot out of all of the players. I think the biggest thing that Tata would have learned is that he doesn't have to rely so much on 111, because there was players that haven't played a lot of minutes and stepped up and didn't look out of place. That's really hard for a player to do, when you haven't played for a while, to get your rhythm. I thought that some of these players that stepped in were brilliant.
Who are some of them for you?
I thought Noah Allen was great. I loved Gomez in the middle. Farias was excellent. I thought out wide. I thought they all linked up and they just didn't look out of place. I thought, for an away performance somewhere difficult like New York, for them to impose the game onto New York was excellent, and it was a really professional away performance.
A 2-0 win for Miami in their first MLS match. Let's hear the thoughts after the game from the InterMiami manager, Tata Martino.
No, en realidad, tratándose de él, ya nada sorprende, ¿no? Más allá de considerar muy difícil poder ver a Benja del otro lado de la jugada y rodeado de defensores, pero él de alguna manera lo encuentra y terminó definiendo el partido. Y la conversación era, solamente explicarle que teníamos 3 partidos en una semana, que veníamos de un desgaste muy grande, que iba a tener que parar en algún momento, que a mí me parecía lógico que este sea el partido, y sí, estuvo de acuerdo. Hablamos con él y con Busquets también, y decidimos que incluso si tenían que entrar era porque el partido estaba apretado para definirse, y así lo hicimos. Y creo que logramos 2 objetivos: que algunos jugadores se recuperen, porque por ejemplo Christophe no estuvo ni en el banco, y otros jugaron menos tiempo, pero además ganamos el partido, que era lo más importante.
Those thoughts of Tata Martino after the game, talking about the need to rotate, the need to manage the situation. Began the answer talking about only Messi can do that, but I feel like that is fairly self-explanatory after that incredible goal that he scored and created himself. But I think he hits on an important point as you look now ahead to the games to come this week. Home with Nashville. Again, Miami will be celebrating winning the League's Cup against the team that they beat in the final by bringing the trophy out before the game and celebrating it in front of the fans. And then Sunday away at LAFC. Before this year, that was probably the toughest fixture on the MLS calendar. Now it's probably away at Miami, if we're being honest. But it's still an incredibly tough game for InterMiami, and you've got to manage it. You've got to rotate players, you've got to field different lineups. You saw a very consistent lineup during League's Cup, but now that's going to change. And with 2 matches in a week, 1 at home and 1 away at the other side of the country, it's a difficult moment for Miami, but Tata Martino seems to be managing it well.
He does, and this is such a big week. You're coming up against Nashville, who you just beat in a final, that will feel like they've got a point to prove. That's never easy. And then you go to away to LA, is a huge franchise that's been very, very successful over the years. And so I think that this is like another big test for the club. Rotation, we said, is going to be key with the travel, but like I said before, the momentum that they have right now is the biggest ingredient that the team have. So, that's what I would like them to focus on the most out of anything. Any team in the world, you could have the best players, the most skillful, but if you don't have that ingredient, your chances of being successful are so much slimmer. So this is my favorite thing about the team right now, and I want to see them keep that.
9 games in 3 different competitions, and the desired outcome in all of them. We'll see if they can make it 11 from 11 come the end of next week. Again, Wednesday night, Drive Pink Stadium, InterMiami taking on Nashville SC, a rematch of that Leagues Cup final. And then Sunday night from 10 p.m. Eastern, InterMiami will be traveling to LAFC for a blockbuster encounter on the other side of the country before the international break to come next week. That'll do it for us here on the InterMiami Show. For our tremendous production team and for Karen Gibbs, my name is Chris Whittingham, signing off. 2 more wins for InterMiami into a cup final and off to a good start in MLS. We'll talk to you next week.